Okay, so I'm gonna rig Chicky today. Maybe hopefully finish him today. Okay. I'll just wait up. I'll grab a reference for a picture first. Okay, I think I have a decent enough picture of what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'll do minor adjustments at the end if I have time. So first of all, I'm gonna create the armature. Oh yeah, and I need screencast keys. Okay, so I created this armature. Now I need to change the settings inside. Okay, eyelids, sure. Make eyes up, okay. Okay, I need to fix this part. I'll probably through this point here. Okay, so I need to just cut at this part here. Okay, and I can connect this vertex to this vertex and right. Okay, I'll add a tongue, but first eyebrows. Well, actually, might as well make a list before I forget. I'll just bring up Notepad and write it there. Beak size, tongue, and yeah, too many notepads open. Don't save. Don't save. Don't save. And okay, so eyelid, which is what I'm doing right now, so I don't need that. Eyes up, beak size, and tongue. Okay. Just need to create shape for the eyelids. Yeah, I guess an eyelid would make sense. Okay, it's looking a bit funky. And okay, I should turn this mirror back on. Okay. Okay, then I guess I'll make the tongue. Okay, let me just see if Chicky has any specific shaped tongue. Hmm. Going to need to think about that one. Hmm. Okay, I'm going to need to think about how to do that part then. But so for now, I'm going to need to make a tongue. Okay, so his tongue, which, well, okay, I will just make it first and then see if it's correct. Okay, two subdivisions, one for smoothing and one for the actual shape. Um, and actually, it's pretty flat from the looks of it. And it's kind of wide, but I guess I would just say it's leaf shaped. So like a bit, but it's thicker at the front and comes to more of a point at the back. I also need to make it longer. And yeah, okay. Might be a bit too big. And I guess this part's too thick. Okay, and then what happens next is that sort of, okay, it sort of has yeah, like it's a leaf shape, so it sort of arcs upwards a little. So that, except only the front part or the middle part. And it's a bit awkwardly shaped here. Okay, um, adjusting the shape a little more. Actually, I should use the mirror modifier. And okay, adjusting the shape a little more so that it's more round. And I need this to be thinner here. Yeah, okay, so the tongue doesn't look too great. Needs to be, I guess it needs to be a bit flatter. Maybe using a picture of Chicky going crazy isn't the best reference. But okay, I'll just try this out for now. Okay, and then I need to change the pivot so that's easier to pose. Okay, and I don't have it set to clip, so this is overlapping. Okay, clip, and also I think it's not centered. Okay, and selection to cursor, and it's a bit shorter. don't really like tongue. I'm gonna need to fix that. But I'm gonna see if I could get Chicky to blink like right now instead of rigging first. Just because rigging's well, yeah, you wanted to make him blink first. So I'm gonna make him blink. So there's two ways to do it. I'm gonna do it the way they have it done for most VRM formats, which is using a shape key. Let me see if I could just do it with the. Well, I probably can't. The eye is bulging out too much. Well, okay, I'm gonna try. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I need something, an eyelid, basically, of some sort. Um, okay, eyelid of some sort. Eyelid. Okay. Now I'm just thinking, should I have it as a separate object, or should I just use the current mesh? Which I don't think the current mesh is set up well enough to do that. Which means, and also probably looks better if I made it separate. Okay, so that's gonna be the eyelid. Okay, it's not. It's the yeah. I'm just gonna copy this whole section here. See if I can modify it. Yeah, okay. So the subdivision is making this tricky to do. Now there's one, so I could try to fix it here. Add a bone so I could stretch like a string or a ball. Are you talking about the entire body, or are you saying that you want a face rig? Yeah, eyelid. Somehow have to copy and paste that. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking how I did eyelids back then. Yeah, it's been a while since I made eyelids. But then I can't make any adjustments to this part. And stick with the subdivision on. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something drastic then. Okay. Okay, so this is gonna be the eyelid. Okay, this bone is distracting. Okay, I think I missed the section. Okay. Actually, might as well take this section too. Okay, I'm just creating a space so that I can make changes to it. And then drag it out. Okay, I need more cuts, more edges to work with. So you want to do a face work then. Okay, this isn't working out well. Okay, preferably I want that to be straight. I think that would be fine. Yeah, I could add a shrink wrap afterwards. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not liking this right now. What is technically? Okay, let me see. Yeah, he has bottom eyelids too. Okay, so yeah. Hmm. Bottom eyelids. Okay, I should have thought this out before I actually did this. Okay. How to do this? Yeah, that's not great. No, that's taking a shortcut. Okay, now somehow I have to put this back in. And I need to split this. Okay, and can I just get rid of this part? And yeah, I'm gonna need to get rid of the subdivision because otherwise this won't work. So subdivision, and actually before that, make a copy, applied that, and that's going to be annoying to click. So I'm going to need to, actually I can just select the entire face. Right, mirror's gone. Okay, that's annoying. But okay, I'll just do it anyways. Okay. Now I have an exact copy of the face, which is attached to its head. And I can probably just use proportional editing to pull out a piece of the mesh to cover the eye, and that would be the eyelid. Okay, yeah. Without subdivision, it's trickier to do. And it's also less smooth. Although I could just use a smoothing modifier. In that part too much. And the smoothing modifier. So the only parts I want to smooth are the edges. So I'm gonna smooth the edges. Well, actually not the edges, my mistake. The eyelid itself. The edges need to be uh, the same as the face, so I don't want to modify that. So smooth modifier, smooth. Set the vertex group to smooth group, and let's see. I usually go for 5 because 1 usually isn't enough. Okay, and no more proportional editing. And great. So half the face is missing. I'll just use a mirror here. Yeah. Wait. I can't mirror that part. Mirror and clipping. Okay. And it's sort of like an eye mask, which is now flush against the face. Now need a bottom set of eyelids and a top set of eyelids. Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to drag that part up and drag this part down. Try to get it as close to each other as possible. And just, and usually I have my eyelids, the top part at least, a bit over so that closes entirely without overlapping. And just because I cut too much from the face, I'm just gonna merge those back. Okay, so I have eyelids now. Yes, I want this to be completely flush with the face so that's not peeking out. And to do that, I'm going to add a shrink wrap. So, yeah, it's just part, I guess. So I'm going to assign it to a new group. I'm going to call this the shrink group. And shrink wrap, where's that? Shrink wrap, and it's going to be the head, and it's going to be shrink group. And instead of surface, I want, since it's supposedly one-to-one with the face, nearest vertex, and 0 offset. So now it's completely flush, and we have a set of eyelets. It needs, technically we can also just delete this part. Yeah, okay. And we can technically also delete this part. Actually, I'll keep it around in case I don't want to delete it, because making this part was kind of tedious. So we have Chicky with his eyes closed. Yeah, I forgot to adjust the size of the beak. What was it? Make the beak bigger. Well, okay, so not sure if it's bigger or smaller. So I'll probably leave it like that. Okay, now we need a face rig. Now where's the armature that I made? Okay, this is the armature, and I need to make this. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna set up the bones now. So this is gonna be the head or body. I'll just say body. Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna make the face rig. Body. Then this is relations. No, this Benny post relations. Body. This is going to be. I'll make the eyelids first. Roughly here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Roughly here. Okay. Let me just check. Now to the front. Well, here. And this is going to be upper eyelid dot L. Hmm. Yeah, this is going to be a bit tricky because actually, let me look this up. I want to know what actually uses a face rig. Well, I'll find it in my own time because it might be a rabbit hole. But yeah, okay. So first upper eyelid. Let me just see if this eyelid actually works because I feel like I'm going to run into issues. Okay, so one way to actually, yeah, no, I'm gonna complicate things. So I'm just gonna set up the bones first, then I'll show you weight painting and all that. Because weight painting is a process that gets very complicated very fast. And I don't want to make it too confusing right off the bat. So yeah, okay, X mirror. Yeah, I should have X mirror already. So Yeah, it will save some time if I have X mirror open before I start setting up the armature, especially if I'm mirroring things. Because as soon as I want to duplicate it, it creates a second bone. If it's so, yeah, a bit of a technical thing or explanation. You have to, if you're naming things, you have to name things left or right because that's the keyword. And basically, this part here, .l, is could also be .left, .right. That's because it's a keyword in Blender, which means left and right, and it has special meaning in that certain functionalities in Blender sort of understands that these two are a pair, so left and right are a pair, and you can do certain things if you make if you name it using left and right keywords. There's also technically up and down, but I don't know what context those are useful for. But yeah, for example, since they're left and right pairs here, the X mirror knows to move the other side, uh, like a mirror to the other, and that only works if you have the left and right keyword. So if I turn that off, it doesn't work anymore. So yeah, when making the armature, have X mirror on and make sure that left and right side are named correctly. You can also just put names, auto let name left and right, but that's kind of buggy if you start off with nothing because you don't have a left and right bone yet. Okay, so that's lower and upper eyelid. Gonna need to play around with that. Been a while since I made a face rig, admittedly. Yeah, so might as well mention it too. Uh, there's two ways to make facial features in, for animation stuff. The first way, which I'm showing you right now, is using a facial rig or a face rig, and that's by using bones to pose the face parts. Actually, I can show you something. Okay, I don't have the add-on added. Well, yeah, there's like a face rig or armature that Blender provides. Well, actually, not even a armature. It's just a complete humanoid armature for Blender. I don't use it because I prefer using my own armature or rig. Okay, so that's going to be the leg. So yeah, what you want to do is set the joints to be, so yeah, the balls here are the joints. That's where you turn. You want them to be in the middle of the limbs. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it has to be close enough. Well, yeah, close enough is good. And technically, this armature here, this leg armature, I'm going to need to do something else here. So this leg here, I'm using a skin mesh or a skin modifier. And one thing about the skin modifier is that they have a option here that says create armature, and it automatically generates it, and it works. So I'm just going to use this armature. Well, I say it works, but it could be improved on. I'm just going to use that as a sort of template since this is already pretty much rigged. And yeah, I might as well change the bones too. Change bone means while I'm at it. So this is going to be a thigh. This is, I guess, a calf. And technically, I would also need a left and a right thigh, or a left and right leg. And yeah, I don't need this bone because I'm using this one to handle the leg. So I'm going to extend it to here because the leg is going to bend. Well, actually, I guess chicken legs don't bend like that. Okay, I think chicken legs. Okay, I can make adjustments afterwards, but for now, I'll just leave it as is. And now I have like a leg armature, which I don't need. So I'm gonna merge that leg bone or leg skeleton with the main skeleton. And now I have that set up. Next is I need a foot. And I guess I also need toes, maybe. And yeah, I want to keep the bones in the center as much as possible. And it's like it's fine if you don't, but it's well, I'll show you afterwards. Basically, the volume at which you want to control how you place the bones controls the volume it's supposed to twist in, and ideally you want it to be in the middle of the mesh so that it twists equally around the mesh. There might be instances where you don't want that, and you can have it off center, or like also might in some cases it might look better off center, but generally speaking, you just want the bones to be in the middle, or yeah, the bones in the middle of whatever mesh it's connected to. Yeah, so here's the thing. At this point, you're not talking about rigging a face rig. I'll show you it later. Well, let's see. Let me think. Yeah, face rig would not be the best option for that. Oh, yeah. Might as well show you. I'll show you later. Expressions. Yeah, it's if you try to rig using an armature or a bone, you might have some issues getting it to look right. At least from my experience. Right, I was trying to make a or hand bone. Okay, and then I need the finger bones. Okay, and more finger bones and a thumb. Exactly, I think the thumb. No, okay, so it's in the center. Um, it might be good to have a feather bone too, just for fun, I guess. Depending on what you do, you might want a feather bone and, and butt bone or a tailbone. Yeah, okay, and now I have to name all these because I stopped naming them at some point. And also left and right. Yeah, I'll show you a shortcut for naming stuff left and right. So file, CAFL, let's call this foot L. And I sometimes get lazy and don't name my bones, but that's not really good because it makes it harder to weight paint if you don't know what bones you're using or what the bones are called. Especially if they're all generically named bones, and then you have 100 bones, it's a hassle. So I'm looking at it, and the last message was rig the beak so that the chick can depict fear, anger, joy, surprise, and so on. Is that the message? Okay, I'll go to channel then and see what's happening there. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you want expressions? Actually, well, I'll just show you. Okay, so first of all, before I show you whatever I was going to show you, I need to finish naming all this, setting up all the skeleton thing. So one way to save time naming all the bones is to actually create one side of the skeleton, and then so yeah. What? Why do you need more bones for the expression? Uh, yeah. So technically, you don't need that many bones for expressions. In fact, there's a better way, at least from what I've seen, a better way to uh, do expressions other than using an armature. I'll show you like I guess I'll show you both ways, but I'll show you. Well, maybe I'll just stick with the easier way. So now I need to. So basically, I need to name the other side or mirror the other side of the armature. And what I'm going to do with that is just copy this one, mirror it, and delete the center bone because I already have it in the original. And all of these are named left. Left. Okay, I missed. I didn't finish naming all of them. Okay, I'm gonna need to finish naming all those first. Okay, toes. Okay, upper arm, lower arm, hand. Now, and I need 3 bones per finger. And, and then naming the fingers is I'll just skip a bit using the factory name see and just rename it to different fingers, bones, and what find bone, and I want to name it to. Yep, I can hear you. Now replace the finger. I will just call it pinky. It's not the pinky, but it's close enough to the pinky. Wait, okay, that's not the right name. Wait, it's not bone, it's body. So you want more bones on the face. Can I ask why? A dot L B dot L B dot L. This one, the factory name, body, I guess middle. This is A dot L B dot L C dot L. Okay, okay, I'm waiting for a chat to load. You okay, chat is slow to load. Hmm. Yeah, I am reading the chat, but I don't see which particular message you want. Oh, add more bones in the beak. Well, why do you need more bones in the beak? This is index. Okay. But any particular reason why you want a face rig? Well, I think I could think of some, but most applications that I've seen don't use face rigs. And also, technically, you don't have a pure face rig for expressions. You have a hybrid at the very least for face rigs. I think most expressions done with just face rig end up being uncanny, just because it's not the most precise movements possible. Yeah, the reason you shouldn't be using a face rig is because it's more of an approximation because you can't really get a accurate facial movement using just the face rig. And technically, I think overall, a face rig would be more difficult to control than with blend shapes or shape keys or morph targets, whatever program you're using. Okay, why is this doing this thing? Okay, I hope I did not name the wrong object. Okay, upper arm, lower arm, and A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, and yeah, okay. Now I can finally duplicate this, mirror it, delete this side, and names flip, and now everything is left and right, and then I can bring this back, and if I have mirror on, it's moving both sides. And I forget to parent this to the body, parent this to body. This is also not parent to the body, and this isn't parented to the body. Okay, I'm going to need to show you something because you don't need a rig to do facial expressions. So first of all, I'll show you the armature way, the first way. Uh, Remember to turn off lock objects mode. I don't know why that's on by default. It's pretty bad. So I'm just going to do a quick rig of the eyelids. So with automatic weight, and now the eyelids kind of don't work. So I'm going to need to weight paint that to fix it. Okay, so bottom eyelid needs to be controlled by the bottom bone. So I'm just selecting that so I can put the paint mask here and setting this to 0 because I'm weight painting for the lower eye. Okay. Yeah, okay. Right, so okay, what's happening here? Okay, yeah, I have that. So it's looped, it just circle selected parts that I don't want to weight paint, so I'm gonna have to unclick that. So at the bottom of the eyelids, don't want to paint those. Now I can put the paint mask on, and now I can paint this without painting the top eyelids, and then just setting it all the weights to 0. Blue is 0, red is 1, and then anything in between is different values of weights. The weights control how much influence a bone has over specified vertices. As you can see, because it's blue here, it's not moving, and because there's color at the top, it's moving. How far it moves is dependent on the color of the weights. So the more redder the weights are, the more it moves, and the more blue it is, the less it moves. And so, yeah, you get this sort of thing. So basically, why that's happening is because the bones are too inside the eyes. So you need to adjust that there, and it's still doing that. Maybe if it goes higher. So yeah, okay, maybe I can then adjust the weight a bit more. And I'll also need to change this pose mode so I can access it. So now I can change the weight of the bones and see the weight painting. So yeah, the top part is clipping in. You know, what do you think? Where would it, yeah, so what makes sense for this part, this joint to be here so that it opens up like, so it opens up as it on a pivot. So let me put that bone back, see why it's not doing correctly. Well, but okay, so I need this joint here, and maybe the center of the lid, this joint here on the center of the lid. Okay, so that's not working. All right. Okay, this is gonna be a bit weird. Yeah. Yeah, so there's definitely a way to do this with bones, but it's not the easiest way to do things, especially facial expressions. Let me show you the other way. So I'm going to just first clear out all the weights. Delete all groups. Oh, great. I deleted the smooth group. Okay. So this is the way a lot of people do expressions. They use this thing called a shape key. So you have to first have a basis set up. And once you have the basis set up, you can create its key. And you just name this key something like eyes open. Because right now I have the eyelids closed. And then what you do is you go into edit mode and just model like normal. And basically just hide the eyelid somewhere. Actually, I need to be careful of how to hiding this eyelid. Okay, I see the issue. Okay, then I'm going to need to fix. But for now, I'm just going to show you how shape keys work. I would just tuck the eyelids in the back of the head as a quick demonstration because it's not looking correct. So yeah, right now you see the eyes are closed, and then just changing the shape key, value of the shape key, the eyes are open. The issue now is that I'm tucking the eyelids into the head, and that's not quite correct. So yeah, either I use the bone and then I have to paint everything, or I use shape keys and then just shape whatever it's supposed to look like. I think technically I can have steps too. Uh, Basically, I can change the relative to something else. But for now, let's see if I can get the eyelids to actually close and open using shape keys. And then I'll have to figure out how to weight paint the eyelids too, just so I have a version of it with the eyelids painted. Okay, and then I want to hide somehow hide this. It's like really bad to have this part sticking out. And then, yeah, the issue is also that it's slanted a bit. So it's not being scaling correctly. I'm trying to get eyelids as in to the inside the head, well, as close to the head as possible, so that you don't see it as much when his eyes are open. Well, something like that. Yeah. So it's clipping a little bit here, so I can uh, drag that out. So yeah, this is the way most people do expressions, at least from what I've seen. Although if you do want to use like a face rig, that's possible too. So let me see if I can get this eyelid to be weight painted correctly. Though I don't think I could do it in time because it's not cooperating right now. Hmm. Okay, something else that's happening is that the bottom eyelid is controlling the top of the eyelids, so I need to address that too. Not opening all the way because the bottom eyelid has weights on the top eyelid too, so I need to clear those out. Okay, and let's see. Okay, so it's still not opening correctly with the top weights. I think the idea was that I also had to decrease the weight at the top here slightly, and so that's the hat. Yeah, so I need less weight at the top here and more weight at the bottom. So I'm going to need to paint this red and then adjust to about 0.5 in the middle. And then adjust it to 0.1 at the top. Still too much. Okay, then I probably don't want. Well, actually, what I probably need is the head to share a bit of that weight. So that it doesn't completely clip into the head. But then it's not enough power. Let's see, what am I doing wrong here? Technically, I could just. Actually, I think something else is sharing the weights. So here is like a table of weights, and the beak is also doing something. Well, actually, the beak isn't doing much. It's body, smooth group, those two. Body is might be too high. 0. Just having it set to 1 might be too high for the body. Eyebrows. Okay. Still not doing it. Is it the angle? Okay. Let me think for a second. Yeah, even if I do set this to 0, it might just be that the eyelids are too big. But then what is this thing doing here? What is that? Why is that shrink group? Okay. What is, okay, I need to put this, make this side red so that it's not, so that pins down the weights. Just around the edges here. Okay, and let me see if this, click the weights now, and see if it lifts open, which it doesn't open at the right angle. Yet, okay, I'm going to just adjust the bone position, see if I can get a better angle. Okay, yeah, so I had the angle wrong. So that means I should have a higher angle. Now, the issue is that it's too high now. And yeah, okay. So it looks like it has more to do with the fact that the eye shape is a bit long. So I almost have to scale the eyelids open in order for this to work. Yeah, that's a bit tricky. Hmm. Now I don't want to resort to drivers. That's a whole nother layer of complexity that I don't think is necessary. Yeah, you can't really do it with a single transform. Okay, so if that's the case, I would ideally use shape keys for this. This has been bugging me for a while. This part here. That part should not be split. How about on the bases? Okay, bases. Okay, so yeah, so let me just turn off the armature. So about the thing with the how you said you want a face rig, you can achieve the same thing using shape keys. So if I wanted to make Chicky sad, let's say sad, I can just click the make sure that I'm on the sad section and then turn on proportional editing and just make it sad. Then I can just set this up here. And then something that you can't really do with armature or face rig is set precise controls. So I can adjust the shape a bit more using shape keys. So then if I do this, it it's basically uh, more control over how you want the expressions to look compared to the armature, which is more hacky, I guess, in a way. So yeah, uh, if you're curious on what actually uses shape keys, like why basically I find more examples of people using face keys for expressions than face rigs. In fact, as from what I've seen, VR chat and in fact the model that I'm using right now at the corner all uses shape keys. They don't use facial armor, facial rigs for this sort of stuff. So I'm not sure why you want to use a facial rig, especially since facial rig is much harder to deal with. In fact, I think I can also just do, let me see, you wanted like eyebrow stuff. So I guess I can do angry. I'll need to fix eye open later. So angry, let's say something like this section here. Okay. Shrink wrap is doing something weird. I need to just shrink wrap. Okay, yeah, okay, I need to turn this off for a second. Shrink wrap is not. Okay, shrink wrap is very distracting. I'm going to need to get rid of shrink wrap. But I do need shrink wrap. Let me change the order. Can I do that? Okay, now I can get rid of shrink wrap. Okay, why is it telling me? Modifier cannot be applied to measure shape keys. Yeah, okay, I need a plugin for that. So yeah, that's one of the issues with shape keys is that you can't apply it, but there is an add-on which is free. Let me see if I have it installed. Yeah, I have it installed. I don't have the add-on name right now, but I do have this add-on, which allows me to apply a modifier and keep the shape key. Uh, for now, I want to just apply shrink wrap, and shape key should still work. And yeah, I need to fix the eyes open. But now that shrink wrap is there, I can then make adjustments to facial expressions. So since the eyebrows is technically just a copy of the face, and it's completely flush to the face, I need to also adjust the expression on the face or the head. So the face and head, I have to simultaneously adjust those so that they don't clip each other. And let's try and make an angry expression now. Let me just grab the top parts of the brow and okay, I don't have this. And so I didn't have both of those items clipped, so I can't edit them both simultaneously. And I actually, right, I don't know if I am allowed to do this, but I'll give it a shot. Actually, no, I can. I just need to make sure that they're both on angry. Then select both of them. Then I can adjust. Oh, it needs cleaning up. I just sort of demoing you why Chickies are a bit better. Although technically, I guess there's also advantages to using armature. It's mostly just armature. You have to weight paint. You know, weight painting is tricky. Okay, this isn't working out correctly, but yeah, let's just see how that looks. Okay, needs work. A lot of work. And yeah, I guess as a sort of finished product, an armature will probably be better. Okay, I'm gonna have to do sort of research on this. Okay, let me bring back the armature here. Okay, I'm gonna have to continue this tomorrow. I think I can do it tomorrow. I have to figure out how to do the island, or I need to figure out the sort of the ins and outs of weight painting the eyelids, since apparently it's not working right now. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of playing around to figure this one out. Okay, so otherwise, the rest of it isn't as complicated as Space Rig, and I can probably do that tomorrow. I have to figure out how to do the eyes offline, because that's gonna be time consuming. Okay, so I'm gonna, well, sign off then, and I'll continue it tomorrow. Okay, any last minute things? Uh, just wait 5 more seconds.